What's up to Lion Talk Live? Sir, we love you too, buddy.
What's going on, guys? It is Aiden Hutchinson.
What's up, everybody? It's Calvin Johnson Jr. here, a.k.a. Megatron, a.k.a. First Ballot.
What's up, man? It's your boy Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Greetings and salutations to everyone out there in YouTube land. This is Dan Skipper, offensive weapon for the Detroit Lions. Make sure you all help support Lions Talk Live, Coach Dan, by clicking on that like and subscribe button. Everybody, woo!
I love nothing more than watching Lions Talk Live every morning. Woo!
Woo!
Well, greetings and salutations to everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm your host once again, Dan Thornton. I want to thank you all for joining us here today. Hey, Lions Talk Live, and guess what day it is? It is really, hey, we've got training camp happening right before our eyes. Rookies, as we all know, got into camp. Now we got till Saturday for the veterans to get in there. So I should say rookies, undrafted free agents, things of that sort are all going to be already in-house and at it, which means we have officially started the Detroit Lions' next upcoming season. The 2025 season is here. We're going to dive into a little bit of that during the 5 headlines now. The main topic of the day, I'm going to guess some of you may know this player. Many of you, maybe even most of you, might even be guessing who it is. But the Lions might be looking to make an unexpected move. And with that, we're trying to get a special guest to join us today. Someone who's a part of the Dew Crew, who has intimate inside information about this guy and the potential that if he does, in fact, sign with the Detroit Lions, which seems like a strong possibility at this point, what he might be able to provide to the team. You'll have to stick around for the main topic of the day for that one in about, 15 minutes or so. So anyways, we also got some great news from the NFL regarding second-round picks, because yet again, another person has signed, so that's 3 out of 32 teams, but this should help start getting things moving. The dominoes are going to begin to fall. Again, we'll get into that during the 5 headlines now. Real quick, before we get into the 5 headlines now, the main topic of the day, if you haven't yet subscribed to Lions Talk Live, pretty pleased with Sugar on Top, consider doing so, making that march for 14,000 subs. And we're, about 90 subs or something like that. Or 90 subs or something around there away from it. So if you have a half-second time, you're willing to hit that button, please do that. While you're hitting that button, consider hitting the thumbs up button. If you've watched YouTube for any length of time, you understand anytime you get someone to hit the thumbs up, the like button, comment, subscribe, it just helps that channel out a lot. So if you're watching this stuff, especially if it's free of charge to you, maybe be so kind to reach on down, help that person out by hitting one of those buttons, or maybe just all the buttons. Last but never least, if you are considering buying or selling property anywhere in the continental United States, let alone in the state of Michigan where I reside, go ahead and give me a call or shoot me a text. You now see the number on the screen, 269-998-2384. If you want somebody to work on your behalf when buying vacant land, commercial property, a new house, old house, anything in between, if it's property related, real estate related, give me a call or shoot me a text. Been in the business for over 30 years. Make sure you won't get overcharged, overworked, anything of that sort. Try to help you out. So go ahead and see the number. Give me a buzz. All right, all that done, set out of the way. Let's get this show rocking and rolling and going and kicking off with, if I can find the button on the dang screen, 5 headlines now. All right, before we get into some more pertinent information, we've got this one kicking us off with what Garrett Wilson's contract means for Lions, story by Christian Boer of SI.com. A couple of you guys asked about this yesterday, so let's dive into it. You guys probably already know the story. Hey, everybody in the NFL gets paid, and you know what? The price tags tend to only go one way, up, and away. On Monday, the New York Jets agreed to a 4-year, $130 million extension with wide receiver Garrett Wilson. That contract includes $90 million guaranteed. Yeah, no small amount there. And his $32.5 million average until annual ranks get updated is 5th in the league. So yes, we all understand he's going to be the 5th, currently at least, highest paid wide receiver. We bring this up because a number of you guys asked in the comment section yesterday, what does this mean for the Detroit Lions and Jameson Williams? Well, it means if J-Mo has anywhere near the expected season, most of us are anticipating he's going to have in John Morton's new offense. You know what? Jameson Williams, whether it's here, there, or anywhere, he's going to command a pretty penny, I'm assuming. J-Mo comes out and does anywhere near the 1,500 yards. It seems like most of Vegas, most of the Dew crew, most people at least, talking to me or whatever, expect 1,500 yards in this offense. I think it's very achievable, which also means, what is Jameson Williams' price tag going to be next year? I would love to hear from you guys in the comments section. Tell me what you think in order for the Lions to re-sign J-Mo. What are they going to have to pay him per year? My guess is it's probably going to have to be over $32 million since he'll be the next man up. I don't even know. I'm guessing somewhere $35 million a year. I mean, let me know your thoughts. Maybe you guys have better information than me. Maybe your crystal ball is working better than mine. Mine's currently in the shop, so wait till you get it back. Because Wilson's contract comes with an AAV of average value of $32.5 million. Lions wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown now ranks 7th amongst highest paid at his position. For reference, St. Brown inked a 4-year, $120 million contract the day before the 2024 NFL draft. So let that sink in. We already look like, once upon a time, we were saying, man, some people in the Dew crew or Lions fandom were saying that St. Brown was being overpaid. Now he's just the 7th highest paid wide receiver out there. Seems like a real bargain to me, but we get it. There's going to be some other guys going to sign, and that's going to push the price tag up. What the Lions are going to ultimately have to give up to acquire him or keep Jameson Williams, I don't know, but we will find out probably within the next year. All right. The 49ers just set the table for Lions to get things done with Tate Ratledge, A to Z Sports, story by Mike Payton. No small feat here. We mentioned it a little bit in the opening monologue, but yes, good news hit yesterday across the NFL. And this isn't going to be just about the Detroit Lions, but let's face it, this is going to gravely affect the Detroit Lions. Tate Ratledge, we are expecting him to maybe be a center, maybe be a guard. How about this? We're expecting him to get big snaps for the Detroit Lions on that offensive line. You all know the story. Frank Ragnow retired. Kevin Zettler is not here. That is opening up a window of opportunities for other people to emerge and step up. Detroit Lions have themselves a bit of a problem with second-round pick Tate Ratledge. Lions rookies reported training camp on Wednesday, and at this time, we don't know if Ratledge is among them since he has not signed his rookie deal yet. That also being said, the 49ers did step up to the plate. They got their guy signed. This is from Adam Schefter of ESPN. The next big domino in the second round has fallen. The 49ers second-round pick, Alfred Collins, the number 43rd overall selection, reached an agreement tonight on a 4-year, $10.3 million deal that includes $9 million guaranteed. Now is expected to trigger multiple second-rounders to sign. So, where do you think Ratledge ultimately comes in and signs that? Well, in case you guys are wondering, like I said, this guy was number 43 overall. Ratledge, as I'm sure everybody in the Dew crew knows, was the 57th pick overall. So not a big deal as far as where this guy signed or it was drafted and where Ratledge was. I think Schefter's right or Shefty's right. You're going to see a whole lot of people probably in the next 24, 48 hours sign, which would be great news for the Detroit Lions. We'll see if there is more information on this later today. I'll try to do a breaking news or update or whatever you want to call it and get that to you guys as quickly as possible. So keep your notifications turned on. It is football season. You know what? We're in the thick of things now, and there is going to be probably news that pops up throughout most days as we get further and further into camp. All right, next to the 5 headlines now. Dan Campbell climbs recent NFL head coach rankings. Detroit Lions on SI by John Macarone. And, it's hard for probably a long time Lions fans to understand this, or really get their feelings around it. But Dan Campbell's been here going into year 5. You know what? Where once upon a time, everybody remembers that opening, press conference of his. Gave him a lot of shade for it, kind of threw stones at him, kneecap biting, yada, yada, y'all know it. But nowadays, he's widely considered one of the best football coaches in the NFL. And there's a difference between collegiate ranks, college ranks, I should say, and professional ranks. So I don't want to include him with the college guys, but I think we all understand whatever you want to rank him with, he's pretty dang good at what he does, and what he does is bring a lot of wins to the Detroit Lions. He came in this year at number 5, being ranked by CBS Sports as the 5th best coach in the NFL. That's something for longtime Lions fans who have endured a number of bad guys. I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before. One of the 5 headlines now, we talked about some of the biggest boneheaded hirings in Detroit Lions history. Well, he's nowhere near being the bottom list. The only people ahead of MCDC were Nick Sirianni, John Harbaugh, Sean McVay, and Andy Reid. So I think you're splitting hairs on a lot of those guys, like we often talk about with wide receiver, quarterback, or whatever positions out there. You get to a certain point on that list, and usually there's not a big difference between person 1 and person 5. You're talking about exceptional individuals. Lions go out and win the Super Bowl this year. Then you know what? I'm guessing Dan Campbell's going to fly up on the list and be somewhere like number 2 or number 1, maybe only number 3. But Cody Benjamin, the writer of this story for CBS Sports, went on to talk about a lot of the reasons why when they did the poll of NFL coaches, scouts, yada, yada, everybody involved in making the top list, why MCDC was so high up on the list. Said ability to command people on the field, ability to develop talent, find good quality coaches and put them in a position to succeed. One of the things I often talk about with younger coaches, big difference between being an assistant coach and a head coach. What is part of the job responsibilities of being a head coach? Making the correct decision under stressful game environments, because you face it, your decisions affect the game. The other part is finding the talent and putting them in the best position to succeed. Not everybody's good at the same stuff. So if you can find what that person is good at or even great at, have them focus on that particular area. If you do that, you're setting them up for success. Good for MCDC. I think we all agree. He puts in a ton of work, a ton of energy, and you know what? He's getting some recognition for it. Because we all know when you lose, you don't get that recognition. You get shade thrown your way. All right, new Lions lineman projected to make huge early impact by respected NFL analyst Sideline Report, Mac DeMar with this story. And I think you could say this for a whole lot of the Lions offensive line because, let's face it, the vast majority of the starting offensive line are going to be new, at least anticipated. But per this report, you talk about Brad Holmes often finding diamonds in the rough. Hey, the development, like we were just talking about with MCDC, the development from the coaches of the players, they keep finding ways to improve players. People that we didn't expect to do anything in the NFL end up being something because the coaching staff really does develop them. This story is all about Christian Mahogany. Max DeMar does a deep dive into it, how you took a 6th-round pick, turn him into what appears to be a pretty good offensive lineman, and did it in radically little time, I should say. Kevin Zeitler was, in my opinion, last year, he was one of the top 3 guards in all the NFL. I understand why he didn't want to resign with Detroit, wanted to be closer to his family, yada, yada. But this has opened up a lot of opportunities for younger linemen for the Detroit Lions. If you get time today, because I don't have time to go through all this story, I think it's pretty dang good and deep. NFL.com's Bucky Brooks is also in on the story. Has Christian Mahogany as one of the all-breakout team ahead of the 2025 season. Bucky Brooks and the NFL writers think he's that good. Hey, you guys all know he's had an awesome 3 games during the start of his NFL career. He did that with little reps, little time in camp, etc. The other part is Panay Sewell does chime in on this story, talks about Mahogany, why he thinks he's going to be pretty dang good. Also talks about he doesn't think the Detroit Lions adjustments to some of the new faces in that O-line is going to be a big deal. Whoever they put next to him at right guard, he thinks it's going to work out. Whether that's just, captain speak from the Panay Sewell, I don't know. But I do have pretty high expectations for the Lions offensive line. Some of that is the guys they've acquired. Some of that is the coaching of the offensive line. I think it's a pretty good partnership. Doesn't mean week 1 of the regular season it's going to look the best, but I do think by probably week 4 or 5, you're going to see a real solid unit out there for the Detroit Lions offensive line. All right, next to the 5 headlines now, the last of the 5 headlines now. Lions make roster move following official retirement of Frank Ragnow by Ryan Love of Lions Wire. Could this be a segue into the main topic of the day? You're dang right it is. All right, so Lions make a move. As you probably all know by now, yesterday was the official retirement of Frank Ragnow, at least from an NFL notebook, keeping aspect of things. Ragnow announced his retirement in June, but the move didn't become official in the Lions book until now. The transaction made room for one player to be added to the 90-man roster ahead of the start of training camp, or at least the official start of training camp. Team also released cornerback Devad Wilson and been placed on injured reserve. Lions signed Wilson in June, but he was placed on IR soon after. Wilson didn't count against the camp because of the IR designation, etc., so that's not a big deal. But why would the Lions make a move now with Frank Ragnow instead of in the past? Some of it was just, moving the money around, how it would be applied, etc., to this year's salary cap, etc., etc. The other part is they now may have a need for that open spot, which will be the segment that we'll get into here in just a couple minutes. Again, probably about 15 minutes if he can make it on. He's at work now. We're going to have a special guest from the Do Crew jump on over and talk about this. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get over to the main topic of the day. I can't say I know a ton about this guy because you know what? It's not my wheelhouse, every player out there. But Toa Tua is, if I'm pronouncing that name correctly, he was the UFL's leading rusher this past season that just ended about a month ago. Put up some phenomenal numbers. The Lions clearly are looking at adding more running backs to the positions. They've worked a few people out in the last week or so. I didn't think any of them really had any possibilities of making the team. In fact, none of them have been have returned after that opening week of workouts. But here's what we do know with Tawa. All right, so I'm sorry if I'm killing the name, guys. He's 5'9", led the UFL in rushing touchdowns, I should say. His freshman year in college, he also had some career highlights out there. Second team All MW in 2020. So the kid's got some skills, he's got some abilities, and now the Lions have brought him in. We've been talking about this week, Gibbs being flexed out to wide receiver. You even heard, Pro Football Focus going on, talking about how the Lions might be using Gibbs as a wide receiver more to keep some of his rushing numbers down. So when they have to resign him, maybe they don't have to quite give the same contract. But I don't think there's any validity to that. But, to each their own. I get Mike Florio's got to talk about stuff, so it is what it is. What do you guys think, though? Do you think that this means if they add him, because they do now have, a roster spot, do you think that means the probable end for, Craig Reynolds or somebody else? I'm going to guess it's going to be way too early to move on from Sion Vaki. But I'm going to also assume the Lions are going to keep for maybe at the very most 5 running backs on the 53-man roster. Or could it just be Toa Tua is just a camp body? Now, if you're going to ask me what his 40-yard dash times were when he went into the getting ready for the draft and everything, a couple years removed, but his lowest time I could find was 4.6. So more of a hammer back, I'm assuming, than a speed back. His highest time was 4.7. So, man, that's Jared Goff type number. So if we're saying Goff is slow, Tawa might be just not the fastest running back out there, but that also might not be his wheelhouse. Could they be bringing him in to be a potential fullback? That's another possibility. I don't know enough about him. I do want to give credit where credit's due. Lauren from the Do Crew sent this over to me around 5:30 a.m., and I said I would start looking into it. I did not have the most time to do a deep dive into it, but Lauren is going to try to join us here in about 10 minutes. I do suspect, though, as we get into training camp, that Brad Holmes is going to continuously look to add some people like this. I do think the Lions are always kicking tires, whatever you're saying, looking under rocks, trying to find diamonds in the rough. Tawa was a part of the All Mountain West second team honors during his junior year in 2020. And like I said, he did lead the UFL in touchdowns last year, rushing touchdowns, I should say. So he's got some abilities. Now, can he do that at the NFL level? And if so, in what role or capacity? I'm not sure if he's got quite the wheels where I would say he's a probable candidate to be a running back for the Detroit Lions. But maybe as a fullback, lead back, or something like that, maybe he does have a future here. They brought him in. They put him through extensive workouts. That's what we can confirm yesterday. Now, where do they take him from there? I don't know. We'll see. All right, Duke Crew, we've got about 9 minutes until maybe we get Lauren on air here. So let me jump on over to you guys. I probably mispronounced another name for the comment section. So there you go. I'm sure Lauren can correct me on the proper pronunciation later. Bootscar Blade kicking us off with good morning, Duke Crew, starting lineup, exclamation point, back at you. Bo, good morning, Duke Crew. Signings everywhere. These signings, exclamation point, woo! And I did, just so we're on the same page, there could be a couple other guys coming in this week, or I should say today or tomorrow, to do some workouts with the Lions. I don't think there's any huge names out there that at least what I caught wind of, but they're definitely kicking tires on a couple people. We get it. They got an open roster spot. I think it really comes down to where they go with it. So could it be that Za'Darius is ready to sign? Because if they do sign him, guess what? You're going to need a roster spot for him. And again, if something like that happens, now that, really the season's here, keep your notifications on. I'll be doing breaking news stuff for you throughout the days. Bootscar Blade, another second rounder sign, exclamation point, let the bodies hit the floor, exclamation point, let the bodies hit the floor, 100% there, yes. I do think probably in the next 48 hours, really before the vets get here for the Detroit Lions, not everybody else in the league, most of them aren't going to start till next week. I think you're going to see a lot of the second rounders now matriculate into signing. Tell the Hun, Lions need to get Ratledge in camp, sign Za'Darius Smith, and possibly extend Alex Anzalone, do something that is good for both sides. Yeah, I think if you can get all that done, man, you've done everything you can to set this team up going into camp. So I like the way you're thinking. France, I see the 49ers signed their second. You're right, Moonscar Blade. That's a good move for everyone. Get Rat in. I think we'll all want him here ASAP for sure. Just good stuff about second rounders. Who's the guy in the photo? Now you know, because that's Dave Ratledge. No, it's not him. But now you know who he is. Carrie, morning crew. Same to you. Stephanie, good morning, boys. Exclamation point. Keep bringing in good players. It makes the team all around better. That's what Holmes does, and he does that very well. You're not wrong there. Brad Holmes is known for finding talent. We all know he's had people from like Australia or the Middle East and just everywhere he can find somebody that's at least tantalizing enough to get them over here, just see what they can do. He does it. And you know what? Maybe that's all this is. Maybe there's more to it. But the Panthers did have a pretty good season. I think most of us would agree. So why wouldn't you look at those players? There's a reason why the Panthers were that strong in the UFL. So they got some talent. Just say, Kate, morning crew. Did Z sign with the Ravens? Question mark. There was a video on YouTube yesterday, and the guy said Smith was signing there soon. Not that I'm aware of. If I missed it, I guess somebody can illuminate that to me in the comment section. But I'm not aware of Za'Darius Smith signing anywhere, at least as of now. If I missed it, I apologize. Carrie, I'm not worried, nor should you be. Drake, Jess Lattimore, no clue who it is. Anyone know? And well, now you guys all probably do know. And yeah, get those second rounders signed ASAP, exclamation point. I'm down with that, laughing out loud. Just greetings, salutations, Duke Crew. Smith hasn't signed anywhere. At least I didn't see anything when I searched it. Yeah, if he has signed, I would say that's breaking news. I must have missed it. Henry Moore, good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke Crew. What a team, exclamation point. What a podcast. What a time to be a Lions fan. Woo! Oh, yeah, man, good to see you every morning there, Henry. Lions for life. Good morning, Coach and Duke Crew. Any news on Lions rookie training camp? Nothing really big yet. I mean, really, yesterday, it's just getting them checked in, meeting with their positional coaches. Today's the day you'll start getting some stuff with him. All right, I see he's hopped on already, so, I know he's at work, so I want to speed through this. Let's get on over to our special guest of the day. You guys all know him. You love him. Lauren from Michigan Panther Pride. Lauren, good morning. How you doing?
What's up? I'm good. How are you, Coach Dan? I'm glad to be here on Lions Talk Live. Thanks for having me.
Hey, no worries, man. So talk to me about this guy. The Lions worked him out, and I want to thank you. Give credit where credit's due. You got this over to me super early this morning. What do you know about him? What would it be tantalizing for the Lions to kick the tires on this kid?
Well, first, let's start off with Toig also got cut for the Panthers training camp at the beginning of the season this year until Nate McCreary got hurt in week 3 and he came back. He was on the team for us last year. Very, very productive, very strong guy, like you said, probably like a fullback situation. But he came back in week 3 and ended up leading the league in rushing touchdowns, like you said. He's a very strong back. He's a very team guy like Greg Reynolds. You know what I'm saying? So he brings that to the table, and he's just a workhorse, man. You can tell how much he's developed over the last 3 years being in the spring game, from pretty much not having a spot on the roster in 2022 to being an influential piece to pretty much being our main back this year that gave us a lot of our good production in the run game.
Okay. With the UFL season obviously over, the Panthers had a phenomenal season. I think we all get that. Outside of this kid, do you think there's anybody else Brad Holmes might try to kick the tires on to see if we do have an open roster spot? Do you think there's anybody else the Detroit Lions need to take a look at?
Well, depending on how things play out with Hendon Hooker, I think Bryce Perkins could also be somebody they look at, because Bryce and Toa, they work so good together. And Bryce is one of those guys that isn't just a good quarterback. He makes everybody else out on the field better too. He's just that leader. He's that type of guy.
Okay. Now go back to Toa real quick. If the Lions were to bring him in, what kind of role would you envision? I mean, you know him, you've seen him. Maybe many in the Duke crew haven't seen him, but you've got intimate knowledge about him. What kind of role do you think he would have with the Detroit Lions offense? At least what we're anticipating to be this year's offense.
Like we said, I think he'd be a little bit of that like fullback guy. He's great at run blocking. He's great at getting those chips off the side to like get over the middle of the field to get out there to get open. You know what I'm saying? So he has really good hands. The guy never takes his eye off the ball. He always falls forward. Another thing we haven't touched on is the UFL extra point system. You know how it's tiered and we don't have any kicks. I think he could be a 2-point conversion monster for the Lions.
I'll take that. Yeah, and the MCDC, I could see him going for some 2-point conversions. All right, now that let's talk about Lions stuff real quick. Lions rookies got in. We get that. Veterans get in Saturday. What are some of your early expectations for us as fans to hear out of Lions camp going into next week?
Definitely we're going to pay attention to what's going on with the O-line, see what's going on there down in the trenches. Not just the offensive line, the defensive line too. I think that's something that all of us as fans, we've been waiting to see what's going to happen in the offseason. And then, of course, like everybody's going to have their eyes on Pete's Law and our other younger guys that we're looking for development out of to see what they can bring to the table this year, like Ennis Rakestraw, see how Terry and Arnold is developed through last season and this offseason. And, you know who we're looking for.
Right. All right, I'll just I know you're at work, man, so I'll try to make this quick here. I'll get one more question for you. Hey, expectations for, say, some numbers for Tesla or Hassanin, because these are probably two of the bigger hyped rookies we've got coming into this year. What kind of expectations do you think of us as fans we should have for those two particular guys?
I mean, they're still rookies, but they're going to put down a lot of production. I'm not the greatest at throwing numbers out there, but I feel like Tisla is going to start off a little slow, and then second half of the year, he's going to get a little bit more comfortable, get a little bit more production towards the end of the season, regular season, hopefully into the postseason. Be another guy like Amon Ra that's just going to be there and a workhorse and have him do whatever we need him to do. And then Hassanin, he's, we need the pressure. We need the pressure on the quarterback.
Get that pressure after it. All right, I know you're at work, so I won't keep you, man. Get back to work, but I want to thank you for getting me this information today, and then obviously taking time out of work to get on over here. So why don't you go ahead and give yourself a shout out to everybody where they can find you, support your channel, all that kind of stuff, because you put in a lot of grind, a lot of effort, and I think fans, if they can, return the favor.
So my name's Lauren, and I run a small podcast that follow the Michigan Panthers. We're pretty close with them. It's called My Panther Pride, My Panther Pride for Michigan Panther Pride. We're on YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere you want. Pretty much anywhere you can find us, we're there.
All right. Well, again, thank you. Go check them out. Go check out Michigan Panther Pride, guys. Show them a little love with a subscribe, with a like, everything above. Lauren, we'll have to get you on another time, maybe when you're not at work, so we can actually have a little bit more time, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you again, Coach Dan and the Duke crew, and I'll talk to you guys later.
See you soon, my friend.
Yeah.
All right, let's get back to the comment section. But hey, go check them out. If you like the UFL season, if you like the Michigan Panthers, Lauren covers the heck out of them. You know, he does a phenomenal job. Obviously, he's a part of the Duke crew. He's in the comment section, but he does have information about these players, that organization, that the vast majority of people do not. He really does grind it. So if you have a free second, maybe go over to his site and just give a subscribe, give a thumbs up, and show some love. All right, let's get back over to you guys in the comment section. Coach Rock, hope Tate doesn't fool around too much longer because there's plenty of talent to push for a spot. Yeah, 100%. You're not here, you get hurt, whatever. It's another opportunity for somebody else. I suspect, like we talked about during the headlines, the 5 headlines now, I do suspect this will trigger in the next 48 hours a few other guys to sign. The more people that sign around his draft position, you're probably going to get him in pretty quick. At least that's my hope. Johnny L, good morning, folks. Hope you're all doing well. Same with you. I know you've been a little under the weather, so hopefully you're getting back and right. Kurt Steele, what up, though, Duke crew? Back at you, Man of Steel. How is the professor doing this morning? Trim Reaper, another rainy day here. Thanks, Davenport. Yeah, he's probably behind it. Lauren, what up, dope, Professor Steele? We'll find out very soon. Hoogadoo, Hall of Fame game right around the corner. Stephanie, thumbs up. Oh, yeah, and Stephanie's fights, I want to say this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe I'm wrong with that. Maybe it's 2 weekends. Gary, how you doing, Johnny L? Inquiring minds want to know. The Trim Reaper, good morning, Professor Steele. The Motor City Patriot, what up, Duke Crew? And Coach Dan, what's up, Patriot? How you doing today? Let's see, Kurt, missed you guys yesterday, at Trim Reaper and Lauren Van Esch. We had our Season 2 preview on the channel. Well, congrats for that. And, hey, hope you all go over and check it out up on the Boss Up, Ball Out podcast. Lauren, but Jesus, I'll have to rematch Kurt. There you go. There you go. Kurt Steele, Season 2 starts Monday. Yes, it does, man. Yes, it does. How much is in Fort Knox for JMO? JMO, if he has really kind of the year a lot of us are thinking he will, you might need to back up those trucks because he's probably going to get paid. Trim Reaper, I will watch today, Kurt. I had a wicked toothache yesterday morning and had to go to the doc. Hey, there you go. Get that taken care of. That's never any fun. Kurt Steele, the Trim Reaper, how do you feel better? Yeah, hopefully you feel better too. Kurt Steele, the only second-round picks have signed their deals. Only 3, correct. Yes, and you know what? Hopefully some more now get jumping in on it. Moodscar Blade, Wilson must be one heck of a blocker. Justin Fields throwing him the ball. Wilson probably not topping 1,000 yards this year. 14 career touchdowns in 3 seasons. Correct with that. Hey, but he got paid. They recognize he's got some abilities and some talents. Maybe the quarterback spot wasn't the best. I was a little surprised by his numbers, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's going to force other prices up, especially if around the league, other agents can say, this guy in a scale of 110, he's only like a 7 or 8 as far as skills, and you're paying him that? You know what? My guy's a 10 out of 10. You're going to pay us even more. Tug Speedman, man, talk about something. Hey, we haven't seen you in a hot second, man. No freaking way. JMO is worth that. Paying him another anything close to that deal fail for this franchise. We'll find out what happens. I mean, really, it's all speculation at this point. He's got to go out on the field, obviously put up the monster numbers, prove his worth, prove his development. If he does that, he's probably going to get paid either by us or somebody. Trim Reaper, thank you. I got some pain relief until I can get into the dentist. Yeah, I got to go get some pain relief, my friend. Hopefully they get you into the dentist pretty quick. Kurt Steele, Tug Speedman, 1,000 yards on 58 catches. This is true, man. JMO didn't need a lot of passes to put up those kind of numbers. This year, we talked about it the last couple days on the show. There are at least some suggestions out there. You're going to see JMO be used a lot like, a running back, slash back, wide receiver, all over the place, reverses. Who knows? Maybe we'll see some more JMO passes. I personally hope not. Whatever we can say, we probably all have some expectations with John Morton's offense. There will be more vertical shots, kill shots down the field, post patterns, fly, streaks, whatever you want to say. And JMO's probably going to be playing into a lot of that. One funky, it's less than $7 million over 4 years. Just pay the kid. I mean, the team drafted him to be a long-term replacement. Yeah. Maybe that's what they'll do with him for sure. I would be okay with them just getting him in. We'll have to see what kind of numbers ultimately they end up figuring out with Ratledge. All right, see, Coach Rock, good morning, Kurt Steele. Good preseason show yesterday. It was a great show, I would say. Kurt, Rocky, thanks. Doug Spearman. You said it, 58 catches, not very good. No, but he got a lot out of those. But I think that's one of the things this year with the Detroit Lions. Well, I mean, let me throw this at the Duke crew. Think about all the offensive weapons we have. And who knows, if we sign somebody else or add a couple more people, how many balls can really go around? I mean, you do got J-Mo, you got St. Brown, you got Gibbs, you got Mondi, you got Sam-I Laporta, you got Brock, I mean, Tesla, you got so many different people. Tim Patrick, I mean, you got everybody out there. That ball, it's going to be hard for one or two people, I think, to really step up and shine up. But to your point, though, 58 catches, I don't know. That might be one of the higher moves for the Lions this year because of all the people you got to feed. Defensive coverages are obviously going to dictate who's going to get the ball and who's not. You're not going to force the ball around, but I think we've got so many weapons and such a vertical scheme, there might be some adjustments to the numbers. T-Bone Lokes, I can see J-Mo taking $30 million a year. All right, I'll go with that. Kurt Steele, Tuck Speedman, to get 1,000 yards on 58 catches is extremely good. Yeah, I would say so. Your yards per catch. I mean, that is why J-Mo is one of the leaders in the NFL in that regards. When he caught it, he was gone. Lions, bad guy, 2 weeks in so many hours. Let's go, Lions. Hey, we're getting closer and closer, though, aren't we? Lionel, greetings, salutations, coach and Duke crew worldwide! Exclamation point. If these players don't want to play for equitable money, there's plenty of others who will jump at the opportunity. Lightning and Thundercats, I'm down with that. A lot of people would love to play in the NFL for sure. Only problem is the NFL, they want guys who they know can effectively affect the game. We'll see what all shakes out with the contracts. Tuck Speedman, for a so-called number one, come on, dude. All right. Trim Reaper, exposed nerve from chipping a tooth freaking hurts. Oh, man, that's got to be nasty, man. 100% there. Good say, Tuck Speedman, that's a 17-yard per reception average. Not wrong there, although I don't have the math in front of me. Moonscar Blade, dude, 58 catches and 91 targets, 63.7 completion. Perfect. In his first fullish year, that was in 15 games and a sophisticated offense with many weapons. Yeah, a whole lot of weapons there. Whole lot of weapons. One funky. Trim, it really lets you know how much taking care of your teeth impacts everything else in your life. That's an accurate statement. Tuck Speedman, what if St. Brown had 58 catches? Is that good? I guess it really depends on the situation. I don't know. Everybody's got different views on it. Moonscar Blade, not a number one receiver? No. All right. Michael, Simple Jack is with us now. We are Flaming Dragons, and now it's $50 million. All right. Hey, somebody's going to get $50 million. I wouldn't mind getting it myself. Johnny L., I know that hurts like hell. Trim, I would agree. Trim Reaper, can't wait to get it fixed. Keep me up at night. Yeah, I bet it does keep you up at night. Lions Bad Guy fan, if we had another great regular season distinction makers, all right, I'll go with that. Let's see, Vincent E., good morning, Coach Dan and the Duke crew. Woo, back at you. Kurt Steele, Tuck Speedman, or J-Mo ranked third in yards per reception in the NFL, only playing 15 games. If you don't like him, just say so. The numbers don't lie. Yeah, it's hard to get away from the numbers. Xavier, good morning to you and the Duke crew. Exclamation point, go Lions. Woo! I'm looking forward to seeing them this year. I think we are, man. And you know what? We're less than 2 weeks away from seeing them on the field. Hey, we're going to start seeing them in camps, just doing stuff. We'll get weekly, daily updates, I should say. Maybe even hourly updates. Tugs, J-Mo average under 4 catches per game, but they were deep shots. I mean, that's the other thing. Look at so let's just say somebody gets 7 catches a game, but they average 10 yards, all right? That's 70 yards. But if you get 4 catches a game and there's 17 yards a game, who's got the higher average? The more yards, I should say. All right, Kurt Steele. Wilson tore his ACL a couple of days after signing his deal. Ooh, that's not good. That's not good at all. Vincent E., 2 weeks until football. Let's go. Yeah, it's in the air. You can smell the footballs. Let's see. Tuck Speedman, I'm not saying I don't like him, but to pay him over $32 million is ridiculous until he can prove he's number one. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what shakes out. I'll leave that to people with more wisdom in the Lions organization. Lauren is looking. Got to be looking. And thanks for hopping on, by the way, today, my friend. Michael Jimmo had 95 targets versus the second receiver had 175 targets last season. Big difference, Tugs. All right, I'll go with that. Xavier, I would like to see Zedarius back with the Lions. Woo! I think we all would like to see him back. Dre Day, I hope J-Mo finally learns to come to the ball instead of waiting for the ball to get to him. Yeah, details like that. If he's evolved in that way, he's going to have even a bigger year. That would save us a couple picks. Goff actually runs the right routes. Yeah, you get on the same page. Remember earlier in his career, I think he was a little bit off on some of that stuff. He's definitely gotten better. I've pointed out on the show before, when you watch in hindsight now Jameson Williams' evolvement in the NFL or development in the NFL, I do kind of wonder if in college he was ever really coached up much at all. Because you look at him at Ohio State, for those who remember, or Alabama, it really does seem like they just asked him to be more athletic than anybody else. We're not going to even worry about developing any skills with him. When he came into his rookie year, I get they were being very, very cautious with him when he finally did play late in his rookie year because of the ACL, the recovery and everything. But looking at that and his first real season in the NFL, there just wasn't a whole lot of development there. Now, he's come a long way since then, which kind of furthers my point that in college, I don't think any coaching staff worked a ton with him other than go that way real fast. All right, let's see. Kurt Steele tucks me in. Let's wait and see what he does this season to say what somebody deserves or not. Yeah, if he puts up monster numbers this year, somebody's going to pay him, whether it's us or somebody else. One funky Dre Day. It's all J-Mo's fault. Goff struggles to get hit him in stride. Y'all are too funny. No, I think it was a symbiotic thing. I think Goff had to learn the speed difference between, say, J-Mo and every other receiver on the team. Lots of little details, but it seems like last year they worked a lot of that out. Tugs, I'll agree with that. Let's see what he does this season, and I wish him all the best when he hosts that Lombardi Trophy. Me too, man. Go get the trophy. Dre Day. Some receivers need to run the route the play is designed to. Goff is beyond accurate. That's why St. Brown had a perfect 32 for 32 catch rate with Goff. All right, yeah, they were clearly on the same page. Moonscar, if J-Mo played all 17 games and had 66 catches, he would have ranked 39th to 42nd in total catches within a 32-team league. That's a pretty high number two. How many teams with a higher number two had a running game? Yeah, good question, and that's kind of my point. You got so many weapons all across the board with this team. I'm not sure, unless somebody's just really having a monster year, if they're going to put up some hellacious numbers. Great day. J-Mo needs to learn how to do that still. Yeah, could be. Kurt Steele, Tugs Feeling exactly, and the league really sets the market on players with deals, signing of players. Yeah, when deals get signed, it pushes other deals up. Jacob, second rounder conclusion. What's new? We usually have owner conclusion. Yes, I would agree with that. Yeah, owners do. Hey, they do what they can to protect their business. That's probably true in any business, though. Server, good morning, coach and everyone. Back at you. Do you think Mike Hunt will be a good quarterback for the Detroit Lions? We'll find out, and I think I know where you're going with that. Phil, until the teams start playing games, nobody knows who's competing and who is not. Correct. Yeah, every year is different. Just because you did something in the past doesn't mean you do it again. When players rise, they fall, the whole shebang. Chris Steele, Lauren Van Esch, L Boogie in the building. Could be. Yes, he was, and thanks for hopping on, by the way. Bo, good morning, Lauren. Oh, there you go. Phil, Lauren, to the big show. Yes, and thanking him for making time to come be a part of it. Troy Maryport, what up, Lauren? Silent Service. Talk about somebody I haven't seen in a hot second. Von Miller is a Washington Commander. It happens, man. I think he's probably near the end of his career, but hey, if they use him in a rotational piece, maybe he can still be something there. Phil, how close are we to 14K subs? I want to say we're like 80 some subs, maybe 90 subs away, something like that. We're in the home stretch. How about that? Claycom, it's been my experience that human nature dictates that he's playing with Detroit. He's mad about getting ditched early. He's never going to sign. Yeah, maybe. Kurt Steele, our Panther experts. Yes, he is, man. He is the all-wise, all-knowing, all-powerful Michigan Panther pride guy. Mr. Fulton, man, another person I haven't seen in a hot second. Morning, Dan. This Sunday, July 20th, is my big 26th birthday. Well, you know what? Let's get you a real early, maybe way too early. Let's give you a birthday shout-out. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday, my guy. Enjoy it, for sure. Coach Rock, not worried too much about a back that can't outrun Goff. Would save the money for Z now. We'll see what they do. I mean, he may have skills I don't know about. I don't watch the Panthers nearly enough to have any kind of viewpoint. That's why I was very thankful that Lauren was able to make time out of work to hop on the show. Michael, Crap, I just woke up. What did I miss? Well, hopefully by now you know the answers to those questions. Check him. Z Smith not signing with Detroit. Let's hope he does, though, man. Let's hope he does. At least I hope he does. Michael, darn it. Oh, there you go. Kurt, L Boogie, have a good one. Yes, indeed. Earn that money, my friend. Remember, have a good one. Lauren, Silver. Still, Tug Speedman, question mark. Come on, broski. Only you, a Bears fan, would write JMO with a final E for in his name is JMO, the good kid Williams. Go enjoy Burden and company. What are you complaining about? We'll find out what he's complaining about. He'll probably illuminate the situation. Lauren, thanks, everyone. Anytime, my friend. And again, thanks for hopping on the show. Brent, thanks, Lauren. Go Panthers! ! Was the audio okay? Yeah, I thought it was okay. Yeah, but that's just my opinion. Rootscar, yeah, it was mostly okay. A little tin box sounding. Yeah, maybe. So maybe just the echoes or the acoustics of the room you were in. Until then, I predict we hear about Za'Darius signing this week, possibly Saturday. He is itching to get back in the Lions uniform! Yeah, with the vets coming in this weekend or this Saturday, it's possibly signs Friday or tomorrow. Who knows? Probably in short order he'll be in if he's going to sign with us. Silver, Tuck Spam and Lombardi trophy? ? That's funny, broski. I got to give it to you. It happens, man. Trim Reaper, you sounded good, Lauren. There you go. Hoogadoo. Your fight is still on the 27th, is it? Okay, maybe that's what it was. I was thinking this weekend, but, I don't have the notes in front of me. Coach Tiny K, hey, Coach and Duke Crew, are we getting worried about Za'Darius coming back at this point in? Coming now at this point in? No, I think if he's going to sign with us, my expectations is got to be within the next week. I could see MCDC maybe telling to him, hey, you don't have to be here until all the vets get here. If it starts getting past that, though, and we know the bets are coming in this weekend, that's where I would start getting real worried. I can't imagine. I get some veterans want to stay out as long as they can to keep their bodies preserved, yada, yada, yada. I get it. And some vets won't sign until early in the season, maybe right before the season, or even some halfway through the season just so they can sign with a contender. I don't think Za'Darius is in that boat because I don't think MCDC is going to allow that. I don't think he's going to say, we're going to let somebody else do all the work, and then you come in last second. Just my personal opinion. I can't corroborate that. It's just my view of MCDC. I think he's going to say, hey, if you're going to be here, you've got to be here, Saturday or Sunday. Lauren, I was using my headphones. Maybe next time it'll be a weekend. I'll be in my podcast area at home. Yeah, maybe we can try to make that happen. Johnny Gaz Sports. Good morning, Dan Duke Crew. Happy Thursday! ! Back at you. Let me know, Johnny. Shoot me a text or something when you've got time to hop on. I would love to get you back on, my friend. Trim Reaper, what up, Johnny Gaz? And we'll get to wait here. Till the Hun, JMO is third best wide receiver in the North currently. JJ St. Brown, then JMO. I'll go with that list. That's a pretty good list, though. Hood Scarblade, what will Stephanie's entrance music going to be? ? Take a walk on the wild side, wild thing. Inquiring minds want to know. I don't know. That's a great question. Let's see if we can get a phenomenal answer. Gary, I predict Z will be signed by the end of training camp. Let's hope so. Kurt Steele, Carrie, I hope so. Me too. Phil, Steph's music. Bad boys. What's she gonna do when she comes for you? She's a cop. Yes, this is true. That would make sense. That's a good call there, Phil. Pierce, Gary, we need Z. We do. Jennifer, we have a team of unselfish players. I would agree with that. I get everybody wants to get paid. I also think, though, the guys at the ultimate end of the day, I don't think there's anybody here that says, I got to get my numbers. I got to do this or that. I just, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's somebody I'm not considering. I just don't think I see that with the vast majority of this team. Tugs, I'm always here, Dan. Love what you do for us. Hey, anytime, my friend. Glad to have you here. And, I love me some Duke Crew. Hopefully, everybody loves being a part of it. Moodsguard Z Smith with a huge smile on his face. Soon. There you go. Jacob, hating JMO is not going to make your life better. I'm down with that. Dre Day, I don't understand the hype on JMO. I get the speed, but unless he gets better out route running, closing gaps, space on balls and the open field, and less self-inflicting penalties for celebrating. Yeah, I think he's, to your point, I get what you're saying. I just think every year you're seeing him, he's getting better and better. You can see, at least I think I see involvement or improvement out of him. So I'm just hoping another year here, he's improved even more. Brian, what do you got? Good morning, Dan and crew. I can't wait for some football. I think you're in the same boat with the vast majority of us. Oscar Blade, I'd like to see some long pass plays this season where J-Mo isn't turning around waiting for the ball. Yeah, if they can improve that, man, hit him in stride where he doesn't have to slow down. I just don't see many teams stopping him. Till then, J-Mo may be the most explosive wide receiver in the NFL. He has only scratched the surface of his abilities and talent. I agree with that 1,000% because I don't think he's been developed much until these last couple of seasons. David, forget about AA and Z, especially AA. He's been in Detroit long enough to know where should win it all this year. Why stress of extension right now? Hey, he wants to protect his future, his family and stuff. I get that as a dad and as a player. I mean, this is his career. I think he wants to remain here. I don't think that's a question. He wants the security. Maybe that's the best way to word it, of a new contract. Am I wrong? Who knows, man? We'll find out. Gary, Z with Hutch will be one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. I will go with that. Kim, for all the weapons on the Lions, it's more important to make an impact for the team. The more targets, each receiver must make the most of each throw. Too much hype over conventional thinking. Yeah, I'd say that's wise thinking there. Muscar, I'm definitely not stressing about AA or Z. We have other question marks. Concurred? Jonathan, good morning. And back at you. We're going to do when Z signs, we can all have a sigh of relief. I'll sigh even. Till then, Bears fans are just embarrassed how he ran past their secondary like they were in cement shoes. Yeah, they pretty much just stood still, didn't they? Thomas, the key to winning the Super Bowl is health! Exclamation point. If we stay healthy this year, we win it. Yeah, I would think if even last year, if we'd stay healthy or remotely healthy, we probably had a pretty good shot. Pierce Hookadoo, correct. Moonscar going to be a very intriguing season. It sounds like we can make a show just about intriguing Lions stuff. I like it, Moonscar. Phil, J-Mo will be stronger, faster, and smarter every year. Best of all, he blocks downfield very well. Yeah, he doesn't get talked about enough. Part of the reason why MCDC and the Lions staff like him is he blocks, and we all get that's a requirement for Detroit Lions receivers. Thomas, if Z signs, great! Exclamation point. Good player. If not, I'm not crying about it. Ahmed gets more playing time. Yeah, that would be also true. Somebody else gets on the field. Hookadoo with Hutch and Z. Caleb Williams on IR. All right, rip on the field. I'll take that, Hooks. Thomas, remember, no matter what, Chicago has 2 Super Bowls this year, and they're both against us. We better be ready for them. Yeah, I think just being the divisional rival, the Ben Johnson factor, I got to imagine that both of those games will be big-time fights. Thomas, smash that like. Yes, if you would, please hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit everything. Phil, how many businesses have a payroll as NFL teams? Not many at all. Not that I can think of. Maybe Amazon. Maybe the Amazon company, but there, maybe Netflix, but that's about it. There's just not many businesses across planet Earth that have anywhere near the payroll that the NFL does. Gary, I do believe our first and second cornerback tandem will be something else. I think so too. I think our secondary is going to be real good. Phil, MCDC have a problem with Z Smith? I don't think so. I want to make sure we're all on the same page. I don't have any information about this. It's just my opinion based on MCDC as a person and appears as a coach. He's probably told Za'Darius Smith, you got to be in the camp sooner versus later. I just can't see MCDC saying, all right, September 1st, you can sign with us and we'll push these other guys aside. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but that's at least my belief. Coach Tiny K, okay, I can agree. I see what you're saying. I want Z Smith back now. Exclamation point, laughing out loud. Me too, man. I want him back just so we don't have to speculate. We'll know. Thomas, if Z signs, it will be late this month or early next, no later than August 15th. All right, we'll see. Let's see. Brent, keep Z in the D. Exclamation point. Oh, yeah, I'm down with that. Sir, I agree with you. Coach Campbell would want Z from day one. Heck, day 3 at the most. He wants Z to help out with younger players. Yeah, and again, I could be totally off base. Maybe we find out, maybe Za'Darius Smith signs, halfway through the season or something. But to me, I just look for normalities in any situation in life, and I would say that is one of the baselines with Dan Campbell. Dre Day, call me old school. I miss when Barry would run a 30-yard touchdown and just hand the ball off. Keep it business. Yeah, but Barry was the asterisk. He was not the norm across the NFL then, let alone now. James Allen, good morning. Dan Aduku, sorry, I'm just getting on here. What's the deal with Tate and Za'Darius Smith? No news on Zadarius Smith, at least not that I'm privy. I know somebody put in the comment section, or maybe it was a couple people, that they heard that he signed with somebody else. I don't remember who, but somebody. I didn't see that. In regards to Tate Ratledge, the good news is the 49ers signed their second-round pick, who was drafted, I want to say 10 spots ahead of Tate. So now you got 3 second-rounders in. If I remember the terms right, it was fully guaranteed other than like $1 million. So you got like $10 million over 4 years, $9 million guaranteed. So my anticipation is now in the next 24, 48 hours, somewhere in that range, you'll start having a lot of other second-round picks start signing. Bo DDI gets first sack. That would be awesome. Let's see if it happens. Drum River, have a great day, Coach and Duke crew! Exclamation point. Woo! Oh, yeah. And back at you. Thomas, hey, to all of you out there, exclamation point, how much cash do you need for your family after $5 million? I'm not buying. Every player needs 20 to 30 to 40 million to financially survive. Not buying it. Agreed. Yeah, but also keep in mind, out of those contracts, so let's say somebody signs a $10 million contract. Well, you're going to lose, we'll say $3.5 to $4 million to federal taxes, etc. So there's half of it. You're going to lose about another 20% to your agency and representation. So that $10 million gets down to about $3.5 to $4 million pretty quick. And as we all know in the NFL, if it's not fully guaranteed, you're injury away from not having a career and not getting any more paychecks. Until then, Donna, remember, several of us weren't alive when the Bears won the Super Bowl. It is ancient history. That's a good point. Lauren, thanks again, Coach, for the opportunity to join in for a few. Hey, we'll make it happen again, my friend. I think you do a great job with all you do. Gary, a great Attila. Look at it. Bo, that means DDI has 2 definite, I'm down with that. Yes, definitions indeed. Bo, happy trails, Duke crew. All done and dusted for another day. See you tomorrow. We'll see you then. Until then, Zadarius not signed yet. Remember, lots of fake AI stories out now. Yeah, that's a good point. Very good point. Phil, does the Lions players have a dance coordinator? Not that I'm aware of. Out of all the teams, the routine seems pretty practiced. I do think they practice them for sure. I just don't know if they have anybody who's like the lead person on that. Hookadoo or meanings. There you go. Hookadoo. Happy Trails Duke crew. One pride worldwide. Have a great day, my friend. Moonscar. Yeah, Thomas. Most of us can retire on $5 million. Show me the money. I concur. I think if you gave me $5 million for the year, I'd probably find a way to make it work. Gary, happy trails. Have a great Thursday. Enjoy your Thursday. Moonscar, I'm around St. Brown is the dance coordinator. Thank you for that. And we might just say we've got breaking news with that one for sure. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. If there is breaking news today, which, hey, every day from here on out with the season just basically beginning, we should probably start getting news updates throughout the day. So I'll try to get them over to you as soon as I can when applicable. Have a great day. If you would be so kind before checking out, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit all the buttons. Do something kind for somebody you don't know. Tell everybody, hey, have a great one, and we'll see you all on the next Lions Talk Live. Take care, all.
Excuse me, sir, would you... Donations to the Reverend Moon? Jews for Jesus? Read about Jehovah's Witness? How about Buddhism? Help Jerry's kids? Oh, yeah. Scientology? Or nuclear power?